Pakistan's Army Chief, Field Marshal Asim Munir. On the 9th of May, he held his inaugural address from where he wanted to broadcast certain very decisive messages to his own countrymen and to all over the world. He was trying to sell the new institutional arrangement which has given unprecedented power to the Pakistan Army Chief. He has become the Chief of the Defence Forces. He now commands the Army, the Navy, the Air Force. Direct command he has over them. He's also been elevated to a Field Marshal and he's been given a 5 years extension. And he is thinking of hanging around for at least about a decade or more. At least about a decade or more. Now, all this sounds very grand, it sounds very impressive as far as the ISPR, dispatches are concerned. But on the ground, it amounts to very little change in actual military capacity, in actual military power. All you've done is you've restructured power around one man, you've given all decision making, including nuclear decision making, to one person. And that person is trying to fortify himself by putting himself above the bloody law. Pakistan is headed for serious trouble. Pakistan has lost over 3,187 odd soldiers killed in the 11 months of 2025 itself. The internal security environment is spinning out of control, especially in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa as also in Baluchistan. The insurgent attacks are on the rise. Unprecedented, 200% plus rise in the scale of internal violence. And yet, Asim Munir is talking of a Pyrrhic victory, an imaginary victory, how he had taught India a lesson and the response this time will be even more swift and hard and faster, etc. These are all meant for local consumption. In military terms, Pakistan is in no position to fight a war with India. It simply cannot afford an escalation. It does not have the forex reserve which can power a military mobilization with India. And, Asim Munir may preside over the dissolution of Pakistan. Troubles are mounting for Asim Munir, not just in terms of internal security, in terms of the needless fracas he had created with Afghanistan, but the simple fact is that Asim Munir has painted himself into a corner. He went and made all kind of tall promises to the United States. He was very happy when Donald Trump wanted to, inflate his ego, give him a pat on the back, and it had gone to his head. He promised that he would be the regional security provider for the Middle East. He would provide security to the House of Saud. And he followed it up by a kind of a quasi-alliance, a kind of a agreement that any attack on Saudi Arabia and would be an attack of Pakistan and vice versa, etc. What that amounts to is very little, except that Saudi Arabia has told him, look, we paid for that bloody Islamic bomb, we want to own it. Sada haq ethe rak kind of a thing. He went and promised Donald Trump that he would provide a massive security force for Gaza to police the Gaza ceasefire, to, dismantle the Hamas. Now, these were ridiculous and very dangerous promises to make to the United States of America. But he went ahead and he did that. He sold himself that I am the one-point decision-making authority in Islamabad and Rawalpindi. These civilian leaders are nothing but a pack of jokers. Shahbaz Sharif is nothing more than my paid butler. He will do whatever I ask him to do. I ask him to jump, he will simply ask me how high. I am the man in charge. I am the go-to man. Don't waste your time with the civil government of Pakistan. Talk to me and I will deliver. I am the go-to man. So Donald Trump, he loves such, clarity, decisiveness and all that. He says, you are the go-to man, come right here. 3 visits to Washington in 3 months. 3 visits to Washington in 3 months. In the first, he asked him, look, if we have to attack Iran, you will have to join the fight. You will have to create problems for Iran. He said he was prepared to sign on the dotted line. He said, I want the Bagram Air Base. He was prepared to sign on the dotted line. He told them, they don't have an air force. I'll bomb the shit out of them. I'll bomb the daylights out of the Taliban and the Tehreek-e-Taliban, Pakistan, etc. I'll get them on their knees. They will come begging to you, Donald Trump, and say, please take Bagram, please take whatever you want. It's on the platter. And he said, all that I would request you to do is stop the food supplies to the people of Afghanistan. Let them starve. Once they start starving, their tongues will be hanging out and they will be on their knees begging for mercy. And I will do that for you. I will bomb the daylights out of Afghanistan. Excuse me, the Russians had tried that and failed. Despite all the Hind helicopters, Tupolev bombers, Su-7, Su this, Su that, they had failed dismally. Then the Americans tried it, a bombing offensive to bomb Afghanistan back to the Stone Age. The problem is Afghanistan is already back in the Stone Age. You can't bomb it any further into the Stone Age, right? But here was Asim Munir promising to bomb the daylights out of Pakistan so that they would be forced to deliver the Bagram Air Base to the Americans. Why? Because Donald Trump said he wants it. As simple as that. And here is the delivery man, the hatchet man, the man who will be the attack dog of the United States in South Asia, in Central Asia, in the Middle East, the attack dog. He will go around biting anybody that Donald Trump wants him to chomp into. He would teach a lesson to Iran, teach a lesson to Afghanistan, play merry hell into India and help to keep China and Russia in check, if you please. I've heard of delusions of grandeur. I have heard of absolute hubris, but I have not seen hubris of this kind. And the worst part is that Donald Trump seemed to believe him. Suddenly he decided he transformed himself from army chief to trader-in-chief, and he landed up there with a suitcase full of rare earths, copper, tungsten, gold, what have you. I will sell all this to you. Is it there? Is it there in Balochistan? The geophysical survey of the United States, there is not an ounce of rare earth in Balochistan. There is the Exxon Mobil has been trying to drill for oil for the last 10 years. They haven't found a drop, and yet this man has gone and sold it to Donald Trump. So all the tall promises that you have made, the pigeons are going to come home to roost. He's already been caught out in Afghanistan. He made a mistake of his life by taking on the Afghanistan, by taking on the Afghan Taliban. And they have said, fine, we don't have any fighter bombers, but we have suicide bombers in plenty. And over 3,000 casualties in 1 year, less than 1 year. 11 months down in 2025, and over 3,124 Pakistani soldiers have been killed already. He's bought trouble for himself, and he's going to get into greater trouble. How? Simple. He had promised Donald Trump is dreaming of a Rivera. The real estate man, he wants to convert Gaza into a Rivera of the Middle East. where he and his companies and his children and grandchildren will make profiteering in the millions and billions of dollars, So he wanted, he had drawn up his peace plan, and he wanted a police force from Muslim nations to police Gaza, to disarm the Hamas. And he told Pakistan, and this man went and promised that. Now the time has come to deliver. Donald Trump is asking, where is your stabilization force for Gaza? 30,000 troops you had promised me, a corps you had promised me, along with 20,000 troops for protection of the House of Saud and for fighting in Yemen. 2 corps worth of troops the Pakistanis are planning to send into the Middle East, if you please. Now, reality check has kicked in, and suddenly Asim Munir realized that if he is asked to disarm the Hamas for Israel, they would be merry hell to pay back at home. There would be serious problems, internal security problem. Tehreek-e-Labbaik, Imran Khan, the rest of them would pounce on him for a sellout to the United States, for a sellout to Israel of all the places. And Israel, it is said, has already, the Mossad has offered money to these people. But this would be money too hot to handle for the Pakistani generals. Asim Munir is already chickening out. He is trying to say, I talked of peacekeeping, not peace enforcement. I can't do peace enforcement of operations. I will not do them. I think he is going to get a call from Donald Trump very soon. Mister, you promised us the moon, and you are chickening out from step 1. We will make a horrible example out of you. This man is heading for serious trouble. He either has to succumb before he had gone on bended knees to Donald Trump. If he tries to back out of that, he is likely to court serious trouble from the United States, from Israel, etc., etc. And all his promises would turn out to be hollow. And he has a 5 years tenure as Chief of Defence Forces ahead of him. Asim Munir is heading for serious trouble. He is most likely to preside over the dissolution of Pakistan. History repeats itself. If it does not repeat itself, at least it rhymes. The simple fact is, in 1971, Pakistan, they had stolen an election in which Mujibur Rahman had become won outright, a thumping majority. They didn't let him take charge. They didn't let him become the Prime Minister, because how can a Bengali be the Prime Minister of Pakistan? So between Yahya Khan and Bhutto, they decided to steal that election. They paid with half their country. Pakistan broke up into 2. In Yahya Khan, you had a one-point control man, the go-to man, who promised Richard Malhouse Nixon, who promised Henry Kissinger, I'll get you an alliance with China. I'll break up the Russia-China camp, the communist monolith. I'll help you break that. I am indispensable. I will midwife the détente between China and the United States. And he did. And Richard Malhouse Nixon, Henry Kissinger were extremely grateful. But the concentration of power in one man proved to be catastrophic for Pakistan. Yahya Khan overloaded himself. He was his own president, he was his own foreign minister, own defense minister, own army chief, own economic czar, everything, apart from his interests in guzzling whiskey every night and gallivanting with some Ranis in Pakistan. This man overloaded himself and courted disaster for his country. He was his head was jammed He was in no shape to take any command decision so vital for the saving of Pakistan. He courted disaster. Now we have a second stolen election in Pakistan, in which Imran Khan, who won that election, has been jailed, driven out, but still very popular with the people. A threat even inside jail, right? And this is where Nawaz Sharif and Shehbaz Sharif said you would deal with him, kill him, exile him, do whatever you want. We won't sign your promotion orders. They have a very, very cheesed off Asim Munir. The Pakistani civilian, the butlers had to bend on their knee. Asim Munir has now assumed 1-point control. Like Yahya Khan, this man has overloaded himself and is likely to lead his country to rack and ruin. This man will preside over the dissolution of Pakistan as a viable, cohesive state. Jai Bharat, Jai Hind.